I love me some fern. How a hacker saved the internet. Ah, yes. Why do these hackers, why do they always wear hoodies? Huh? Hoodies in the dark. Could there ever be a hacker that's sitting out in bright sunshine wearing like a polo shirt? Does that exist? At NymN Peppa W. Not just Peppa W. First he does a Peppa W, right? Then he makes sure to ping me to show me just how bored he is. Think I'd give a damn? These are good, man. Go back to TikTok.
Andres is running some routine software tests. At first, everything looks pretty normal. But then, he spots something.
Wait, was he wearing a polo
This peak
shirt?
here is not a typical CPU load.
Mods?
Not a huge problem,
Vaticus.
but it's annoying.
It's got a button.
Plus, he can't make sense of it right away. Little does Andres know that this is not just some random bug. It's a cleverly hidden backdoor. One that's been planted over years by hostile forces.
What is his accent? No idea. Sounds almost Dutch, but not quite.
Possibly state-sponsored hackers.
German.
Now it's set to spread globally and give the perpetrators access to millions of servers around the world.
That's you guys.
To the systems of hospitals, companies, and entire governments. A master key to the internet and everything connected to it, right in the hands of criminals. Andres doesn't know about any of this yet, but he's about to literally save the internet. To understand this story, we first need to take a little detour into software engineering and a very particular little piece of code.
All right.
A lot of software out there is company-owned, like Word, which belongs to Microsoft.
Word.
Only Microsoft employees can tweak and further develop that software. But then there's software that is open source. It works kind of like Wikipedia. The source code is out in the open for anyone to see and use. Basically, anyone can contribute and suggest changes. That has led to the creation of many programs that are fundamental to our digital infrastructure.
There's a test at the end of this. If you succeed, free ice cream. If you fail, fire ants in your underwear.
Sure. While anyone can pitch in on open source projects, there are usually a few people in charge.
Might want to wake up.
These so-called maintainers have the final say on the code and review any changes before they get implemented. Lasse Colin is one of these maintainers. He has been working for years on the Linux tool xzutils. Linux is the most widely used open source operating system in the world. You may not be running Linux directly on your own computer, but it powers most of the world's servers, mainframes, and every single one of the top 500 supercomputers. XZ is a data compression format included.
Why? Any nerds want to reply? Why not like Windows or whatever?
Supercomputers. XZ is a data compression format included in pretty much all major Linux distributions.
The fact that it's free can't be the answer. No way. These are supercomputers. They have money.
Distribution is like a full package of all the essential programs your computer needs to run. Different distros are designed for different purposes. xzutils compresses and packages data so it can be transferred and stored faster.
Oh, because it's open source, you can tweak it to fit your system. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Kind of like zip files. Colin developed the tool back in 2005. As its maintainer, he has been in charge of all changes to xzutils ever since. He reviews suggested edits and then approves them, or not. Once the approved changes are in place, a new version of xzutils can be included in Linux distros. But lately, that process has hit a bit of a snag. 2 volunteer developers are not happy with how Colin has been handling his maintenance duties. They feel like he's way too slow in responding to change requests and messages.
Textbook Colin, man.
Dennis Entz is clearly frustrated when he asks for updates.
I asked a question here a week ago and have not heard back.
Jigar Kumar also seems fed up with how slow things are moving.
With your current rate, I very doubt to see 4.0 release this year. The only progress since April has been small changes to test code.
Oh, you tell him,
He even
Kumar.
suggests that they might need a new maintainer.
Dennis, you are better off waiting until a new maintainer happens or fork yourself.
Go fork
Submitting
yourself.
patches here has no purpose these days. The current maintainer lost interest or doesn't care to maintain anymore.
Lasse Colin appears to be struggling with the workload.
Poor Colin.
After all, his work on XZ-utils is
burnt
just
out.
an unpaid hobby. But Ensign Kumar clearly wants someone who can dedicate more time to the
Yo, Wendy, what's up? So this happens. I get contacted about this all the time. I can't really do anything about it. It's not me. I'm on. If I add you on Discord, it's not me, right? And I'm known as NymN, and NymN only on Discord. Not NymN with any numbers or underscores or anything extra. NYMN. Yep, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm fully aware of this being a thing. It's been going on for years at this point. And I'm sure it happens to every other streamer as well. It's not us.
Project and respond faster to their suggestions. In response to Kumar's message, Colin writes,
I haven't lost interest, but my ability to care has been fairly limited. Mostly due to long-term mental health issues, but also due to some other things.
Oh no.
He also says,
Recently, I've worked off-list a bit with Giatan on XZ-utils, and perhaps she will have a bigger role in the future. We'll see.
Giatan first pops up on the developer platform GitHub in January 2021. For over a year, she contributes to other projects. Then, in 2022, she starts submitting changes for XZ-utils. From that point on, she becomes a regular contributor. Tan is dedicated and polite. She writes friendly messages and helps out wherever she can.
Nice job to both of you for getting this feature as far as it is already. Let me know your thoughts on these patches when you have a chance. Is it good enough, or did I add bad bugs?
Read the
Just
smiles.
trying to do my part as a helper elf.
A girl
Maybe
and a
after getting
programmer?
all those annoyed messages from Ensign Kumar,
Lady?
Colin is just relieved to finally have some help. Someone to lighten the load and actively push the project. At one point, Colin explains that a maintainer needs the skills, time and interest to really stay committed to the software. And Giatan seems to check all those boxes. Back then, Colin doesn't realize that something is seriously off about her.
Tangia.
This video, hopefully, offers a glance into the fascinating world of programming. If you're getting inspired by this story, why not learn more about the subject? Enter Brilliant, our favorite hands-on learning platform. Brilliant does an incredible job at breaking down major future skills like
the
coding,
keyboard
AI,
ninjas
math,
pranked everyone by hacking the billboard to display a giant donut with "Donut Worry Be Happy." They accidentally triggered an emergency alert, causing chaos. The mayor found them enjoying donuts, laughed, and turned it into a donut emergency festival. From then on, the ninjas organized fun events, uniting the community, one donut at a time. Ha ha, hoo hoo hoo.
Thanks for sharing, Goofy. Anyway, guys, what are you waiting for? Go to brilliant.org/fern, write meow.
30 days. Scan the QR code or visit brilliant.org/fern to start your
It's
trial.
raining outside,
and
how
get
cozy.
20% off your annual premium
Any coziers?
subscription. In June 2022, Tan gets promoted to co-maintainer. She takes on more and more control of the project over the course of the year. She starts editing XZ-utils on her own, and in March 2023, she changes the contact mail at OSFAS, a service that helps identify bugs in open source projects. From now on, security alerts are no longer sent to Colin, but exclusively to Tan. Shortly after, a new user named Hans Janssen submits a change request for XZ, and Tan approves it. 9 months later, March 2024,
Ooh, that's quite
Janssen
recent.
sends a message to the Debian project. Debian is a widespread Linux-based operating system known to be stable and secure. Janssen wants the Debian team to include a new version of XZ-utils in an upcoming Debian version, saying it will fix a specific bug. Two other users chime in to praise the fix, Grigorin and Miso Eater. And when another user raises concerns, Grigorin is clearly annoyed and quickly shuts them down.
Instead of having a policy debate over who is proper to do this upload, can this just be fixed?
Shortly after, the Debian project integrates the new version of XZ-utils into a preliminary version of their operating system called SID. Around the same time, Andres Freund is working as a developer at Microsoft. He has also been actively contributing to an open source project. He has just downloaded the latest version of SID to run some tests for his project. SID is not for public release and marked as unstable and insecure. Developers can test it for bugs before
Same.
new features get officially integrated. And during his tests, Andres notices something strange. Something is taking up way too many resources in SSH. SSH is used to remote access Linux machines. Why is SSH draining such a crazy amount of CPU?
Bitcoin
Something
miner.
is off. He also notices a considerable drop in performance, a lag of 500 milliseconds. That's half a second. Something nobody else would ever notice, but Andres does. So he takes a closer look at SSH and realizes that the delay is related to executils. On many Linux distributions, SSH has a dependency on executils. That means that certain exec functions are invoked when SSH is executed. Andres digs deeper into executils and discovers that someone has slipped in a malicious piece of code.
Yeah.
And this code allows that someone to sneak into the system via SSH.
I only recognize this as... Don't you use something like this when you're like almost VPNing? No.
It's a backdoor.
I don't know
this
this
backdoor
stuff.
is so well hidden
Remote
that
control,
no one
yeah,
caught
that's
it
what I
while
meant.
reviewing and
Tunneling,
testing
yeah,
the
yeah,
code. A phenomenal, scary attack. But this disguise is slowing the malicious code down. And it's that exact delay that Andres Freund has noticed when starting SSH. On March 27, he sends an email to inform the Debian security team about his findings.
Are there any
2 days
claims to like the world's best programmer? Are there people that are known to just be the best? I guess it's too broad of a field to ever name anyone the best. But I assume they compete in it and shit. Like, is there a Messi of programming?
Well, let me tell you, folks. One day, my buddies, Keyboard Ninjas and
Bro.
Andre hacked the town's billboard, posting a giant donut
Pilata.
with "Donut worry, be happy." Ha ha!
There's no best doctor
Then they
either.
accidentally triggered an alert saying, "Evacuate for a donut emergency." Who? The mayor saw them munching donuts and turned it into a donut emergency festival.
What is
bringing
this,
the
man?
community
Did you
together
just
one
do
donut
this?
at a time. Ha ha ha!
Are you okay, bro?
days later, he goes public. He publishes a post on Mastodon. The malicious code is hidden in 2 versions of executils, and Andres also has a hunch as to who might have planted it. Jia Tan. She had secretly added the backdoor to a version of executils just before Andres
We
found
trusted you, Gia.
it. When Andres makes his findings
You put smiley
public,
faces
all
in your
hell breaks
messages.
loose.
Did one guy just stop a huge cyber attack?
This may be one of the biggest stories of this year.
Curiosity may have saved us from a devastating cyber attack.
The US Cyber Defense Agency issues an emergency security alert.
Hi,
Luckily, the
Pilata.
tampered
I see you've
software
been
hasn't
successfully
spread far
summoned.
yet, but it has already infiltrated test versions of several major Linux distros, meaning it was
Time to ban some
just on the
people.
verge of massive deployment. An army of developers and cybersecurity experts jump into action. Within just a few hours, they build a fix to neutralize the backdoor. Had it actually made its way into the code of multiple operating systems, the consequences could have been catastrophic.
Whoosh.
The attackers could have gained unauthorized remote access to countless systems. It would have been the master key to hundreds of millions of computers and servers around the world.
What a smart and a very patient approach to do this. Honestly. I'm
Linux
impressed.
operating systems are used in schools, universities, and hospitals. The White House, the House of Representatives, and the Senate all use Linux. In one fell
Supply
swoop, the
chain
attackers
attack?
could
Yeah,
have
that's a good
taken
way to
down
put it.
critical services across the globe. They could have spread malware or stolen sensitive information. There's no other way to put it. The world dodged a major bullet, thanks to Andres Freund.
So this guy only narrowly detected it. So that just makes you wonder then, right? What's out there that no one has narrowly detected?
The silverback gorilla of nerds, the internet's final boss. The Microsoft developer is praised like a hero, and naturally his story becomes a meme. Even Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella gives him a shout-out for his efforts. Everyone is relieved. Disaster
Chances
has
are
been
low with
averted.
open
The
source.
shock is wearing off. But the real question remains. Who did this? Who is really
What if
back?
you infiltrated like Microsoft Office? A closed source. Worked there for a few years? What if you got hired at Microsoft and then you did your work and then they paid you a salary. It's free money.
Behind Jia Tan. Andres' Freund doesn't believe this was the work of just one person. He suspects Jia Tan had backup. These users are suspected of being involved. It looks like Enz and Kumar deliberately put pressure on Lasse Collin to clear the way for Jia Tan. Then Janssen, Grigorin and Mizuita pushed the update through. This whole attack was a masterclass in social engineering. That's when attackers manipulate people into doing something they shouldn't. Like making you accidentally give up a password or holding a high security door for someone who appears to be pregnant. The alleged group behind Jia Tan was insanely clever. Infiltrating XZUtools took not only technical skill, but a ton of patience.
Yeah.
Remember, Jia Tan spent an entire year building trust by contributing to other projects before even suggesting changes for XZUtools.
Damn.
Then another 2 years passed before she slipped in
the long con
door. Experts think this was likely the work of state-sponsored hackers. But what state would that be?
China.
There's no trace of Jia Tan online. At first glance, Jia Chong Tan seems Chinese. The timing of the posts lines up with the UTC plus
Autistic Low, thanks for the 70
months.
Just
be a smoke
Which you're playing Silent Hill 2? I haven't decided.
Screen to hide the hacker's true identity and location. Would someone who spends years crafting such an intricate plan, building trust and slowly gaining control, really leave such obvious breadcrumbs? Faking time zones isn't hard. What if the people behind Jia Tan simply changed the time zone on their computer to UTC +8 before each contribution? At least that's what an analysis of her account suggests. The same analysis shows that Jia Tan has worked through major Chinese holidays. That's weird. And it's even weirder that the account was silent on Christmas and New Year's, which are just regular business days in China. Plus, if Jia really lived in the UTC +8 time zone, she would have always been working through the night. The analysis suggests that Jia Tan might actually reside in Eastern Europe. There seem to be a couple of incidents where they forgot to forge the time zone. There were 3 commits made in UTC +2 and 6 in UTC +3. Now, if we assume Jia Tan lives in one of those time zones, she would have typically started working at 9 a.m. and clocked out by 5 p.m. Sounds like a regular job. Experts believe Jia Tan's trail might actually lead to Russia. More specifically to APT-29, also known as Cozy Bear. This state-sponsored hacker group is famous for their sophisticated attacks.
Damn.
The style of the XZUtools hack would fit right in with their usual playbook.
That's
but
nuts.
So far, there's no solid proof. Open source obviously has its advantages. But if this case proves anything, it's how vulnerable our digital infrastructure can be. We came way too close to a major meltdown. A lot of our critical infrastructure today relies on open source software, on programs that are often maintained solely by the passion and commitment of volunteers, by people who do this on the side as a hobby. People like Lasse Collin who may get overwhelmed by the sheer scale of their projects. If we want our digital systems to be secure, we need to build the right structures as a society and support the open source community.
Yeah.
The XZUtools attack was
These
insanely
people,
sophisticated, and we have to assume there are more of those to come. We can only hope that, when the time comes, the world will have another hero like Andres' Freund ready.
Thank you, Andres. Stopping everything from getting backdoored by Russia. That was nuts. Interesting story for sure. That's an update from me. Autistic Load, thank you. Oh, I think I thanked you already. But thanks again. All right, well, that was a pretty good video, right?
There's a best of internet daily dotes. There's the new unusual memes. This thing looks insane.